Thank you for tuning in to the Honestly Honest podcast. This is your host, Tiara Bebbs. And today I have Kid Saturday on the other line with me. So Kid Saturday, I actually went to undergrad with at East Carolina University. And I know him from the organization on campus called WOM. I forgot exactly what that stands for, but I'm gonna let you, Kid, do, the explanation behind that. But if you want to also introduce yourself as how you would like to be known to everybody.
Okay. Yeah. What's up, everyone? I go by Kid Saturday. You can call me Kid Saturday. It doesn't matter what it is, but yeah, throughout we can just go by Kid. And WOM is word of mouth. It was a poetry organization back at ECU. Started by Johnny Alfredo. It was kind of just another lane for me to work on my craft. And at that time, I wasn't so much the rapper Kid Saturday. I was just Darren, just working on poetry and stuff like that, getting in tune with the creative side of myself. But somewhere through there, I just wove the music with it, and it turned into something else. But WOM was a good platform to get things going. How you doing? How you doing, Tara? And I appreciate this opportunity too.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. I'm doing Grand Central. Thankfully, I can't complain during this pandemic. So, yeah, I definitely cannot complain. But so, Kid, I know we personally we've never really had these type of conversations. So I'm really intrigued and just learning more about you and your history when it comes to the creative side and arts and whatnot. So let's do a little bit of a flashback.
Okay.
So when was your first realization of your talents in expressing yourself creatively?
Ooh. Okay. So we can go way back to I would say 7th grade or something like that. My parents, I'm a summer baby, so for anyone who knows, sometimes family and everybody's still working, and they kind of remember at the last second it's your birthday, right in the middle of summertime. So I fell on that side a lot of times, and on one specific birthday, my parents forgot last second. They ran out to some furniture store, they said, and was just looking for stuff. I don't know why they went to the furniture store, but I guess they were trying to get something for themselves and were like, oh, it's Darren's birthday too. So they happened to see a little camera, and they grabbed this camera, and it was around the same time I had a football game going on. So my dad brought the camera. It wasn't like the school time. It was just some summer league stuff going on. But they brought the camera out there where they're filming and stuff like that. And then afterwards, surprise, here you go. This your gift, yada, yada. And it was cool. The younger me, I didn't mind it at all. I appreciated it. I started trying to figure out the camera. And then from that point on, every year, I was just kind of filming friends and stuff like that, to the point you met me in college. I don't know if... I know it was poetry at the time, but around the early college years, I was working on a short film, and we were kind of getting a little bit of spotlight on it. We got the local news and stuff interviewing us. It was called Perfect Flaws. It was weird, but it was dope. It didn't really get off the ground, but it was something. It was another stepping stone for me learning myself and my craft.
Yeah. Okay. I never heard of Perfect Flaws. What was it a group of you that worked with that project?
Yeah, so let's see. Drea Lawson was helping me. We had some actors, Saliza, I don't know if you know her. She had come through. We had Tyree Barnes, he was one of the leads. And it was basically kind of okay, so the premise was that there was a sick girl trying to figure out her way through college, as well as this kind of outlaw guy who was trying to find a better path for himself, and their lives kind of collided. And no matter how many issues they had, they found perfection in each other. So it was the perfect flaws. That was the whole concept behind it. But with school, grades, and everything else happening, I'm still trying to figure out how exactly to really make a project. It just didn't go how we planned it. But it was a good experience for all of us.
Yeah.
Enough of us stayed tight. Myself being Saturday, Tyree Barnes is actually Sunday of my whole little crew, things like that. So it brought us close.
All right. So was that the biggest project before, you became who you are now? Is The Perfect Flaws, was that like one of the main things that you remember from your camera days?
That's a good one there. Okay. Yeah, I would say that's the biggest project that I worked on, and myself and my team and us trying to build it from the ground up. But there was a moment that was bigger than all of that changed me. And I have a friend, Terrence Holland. I don't know if you know him. He was a poet as well, word of mouth, the Monday in my crew. He had a class, and there was a guy named Tommy Reed. He's the brother of Tara Reid. She's an actress. She's been in some projects, Blue Eyes, Vibrant Blue Eyes. But Tommy was premiering, he's a producer, and he was premiering To Kill the Irishman, something like that. It was a project he had just finished, and he was taking it over to a class in ECU. I wasn't in the class. Terrence was in the class. He hit me up, was like, look, this dude's here. He's trying to present this thing. You want to go watch the movie? I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So we sit through it. And afterwards, he's talking about how it all came to be for him, how he found his path. And there was one thing specific that he said, which was everybody needs a conduit. Everyone needs at least one person to believe in what they're trying to do. And that person will be above where you're at, and they can kind of steer you in a better direction. So afterwards, when it was the Q&A time, people going up talking to him, when I walked up to him, I was like, I need you to be my conduit. I need you to believe in what I'm trying to do here. So at the time, like, he kind of just looked at me for a second, but he bit. And at that time, they were doing The Blacklist. It was a show on, I think it was on Fox at the time.
Okay.
It was like the main guy. Yeah. Well, Tommy was connected to everybody in that group. He was working with the guy over there, but I can't remember that gentleman's name because it's been years. We spoke for a little bit of time. Either way, Tommy connected me to him, and that allowed me my first trip to California. He was like, look, go inside. It was maybe Paramount Studios. They helped me to get out to Cali just for a weekend, and I kind of walked through there. They showed me some stuff. He talked with me about things, and it opened my eyes to a lot more and showed me how far behind I was with Perfect Flaws.
Yeah.
But I was grateful just to see where I could go.
Yeah. Yes. Like the opportunity to grow. All right. So I know you're doing your thing musically out there in California. How did that even start? Like, when did you even just start? Do you write your own stuff? Do you how does that creativity even spiral out of your mouth? Like, what's the process? And let's start with the first question. When did you start?
Okay, so with music, it was a little different because music was riddled throughout the film side. While I fell in love with film first, music kind of kept showing its face. The first time was around, it was 10th grade. And I was behind the scenes of a play that was going on in my high school. I had a friend named Ricky who was always listening to music in the old CD joints. And he hit me up one day, was like, yo, you rap? I'm like, no, but can anybody? I guess everyone could kind of rap, you know what I'm saying? He threw the headphones on me. He's like, try and rap to this. So I'm listening to it. I try and write down some stuff. I'm missing my calls to bring little things on stage and whatnot. But it was cool, and it gave me a little buzz. And then after that, it was probably junior year of high school. I linked up with a couple friends. We created this group called The Block. It was not the greatest group. But I mean, I was the worst. I was the worst. I'm gonna admit that. Everybody else was far above me in terms of creativity, lyricism, everything. We had some singers. If you know Drea Lawson, she was a part of that group as well. She was singing, so it was different. But we brought something cool to the table. And we had a play. No, it wasn't a play. It was like a showcase, kind of one of those class school showcases. Everybody just brings some talent thing up, but it wasn't so much like the talent show because people were just doing things. I don't know, it was weird, but we all got together, put a song together, and performed it there. And we kind of thought we were a legitimate team. And after we graduated, my mom was connected with some people. She had a friend named Sissy, who's married to this guy named Jim Caruana. And that was like in 2007, because my mom's military. She moved around a lot, met a lot of different people, different walks of life. And so when she ran into them, Jim Caruana at that time was working with like Beyonce and them on the Fighting Temptations album. But they were close friends. And so Sissy and them came down to my graduation. And as their graduation gift to me, they took our whole crew to the studio in Wilmington, North Carolina, and they let us record a song. Wow. Now, nothing ever came of that song, nothing. But it was more of that initial buzz. It just kind of made that itch grow. And then after that, every time I ran into someone else down the road and music came up, I would just want to go deeper and deeper into it. I ran into Leilani in college. She was doing some things. She wanted to start some other things with music, and I already had that itch again. So with her and some other friends throughout the school, we started trying to make some other things happen, and then that got me here. And I know I sound long-winded, but that process is now playing in the back of my head. It's crazy. The steps that just kept making me want to write more and want to do more with music.
Yeah. So with the world changing throughout the past years, especially throughout the past 5-6 months, I know it's requiring a lot of like creatives, a lot of people in every industry to kind of like just do a whole turnaround and become more innovative and evolve with what's going on within the world. But have you found it challenging to evolve with the world while also not losing your own signature sound?
See, my problem is, yes, I have found it kind of an issue, because when everything initially started changing with the pandemic, as well as just social justice and spotlighting the real issues going on, reading between the lines of the problems, I could not find the best way to articulate that into music. Because we listen to J. Cole and his perspective, we listen to No Name and her perspective, and then everybody in between to Anderson .Paak and J. Rock, who's, I think his verse was the best to correlate to the times. But for myself, I could not find the best way to say how I was feeling. And especially because a lot of the people that you're being inspired by, they might be saying things right now that you're not lining up with. So it was weird for me to even find the right beats that felt like how the times feel. Because you don't just want to talk about the quarantine. You don't just want to talk about social injustice, but you don't really know what is more vital, or what people will judge you on for putting more attention on. So it was a weird, and still is a weird, path to navigate. But I am working on a project right now that I finally have felt like is giving me the resolve that I wanted. It's filling that void to the questions that I've been trying to answer throughout the pandemic, which is, how do we speak as Black America about the problems? How do we proceed? How do we as a people grow? How do we stay economically safe and able? And, just how do we answer all these questions, but at the same time, how do we just vibe to some music while doing it?
Yeah.
Can we just can we just float at the same time? So I
Yeah.
think I found a lane to do both.
Yeah. No, I think that's good because I do I feel where you're coming at when it's like you don't want to come off insensitive and is this
Yeah,
topic being talked about too much? People like over it already. But I'm like such a believer in okay, like we know what the problem is, we see what's going on, but how do we move forward from it? Like, you
yeah.
know. But then again, also it's well, no, let me not even speak on that because that might come off insensitive. But so what would you say as far as your style as an artist? What would you describe it as?
My style would probably be it's on that intellectual level. I'm not going too deep. I'm not saying these major words or anything, but I like to put together verses that have you think a little bit. I like to put Easter eggs or metaphors within some of my songs.
Yeah,
Oh man, but where do I fit in with all of that stuff? I don't know. I just write what I feel. I
yeah,
put out a song called Coachella in my room, and the energy is just kind of light and just bouncy, and it's just feeling good. But the real song is political.
okay,
So I find ways to weave in both, and it has me always on the outside of where do I fit. I'm not the trap rapper. I'm not even so much J. Cole and in that lane of rapping. I just kind of go with how the music makes me feel or how I want to portray something that's going on.
sounds like I don't know. And correct me if I'm wrong. There's a difference between like a lyricist and a rapper, right?
No, I would agree with you on that. I don't know. I mean, it's like a lack of a better term. I don't know exactly where you would put them, but yeah, we have the lyricists that probably take a little longer to put together some verses. Then we have someone who could just kind of go off the top, and it's not so much just a freestyler to the lyricist, but there is two different uh, teams, I guess. And I would
Yeah,
be more on the lyricist if we were to do it like that.
yeah. That's what
But a
I.
lot of my biggest thing with my music is because as of right now, especially, it's been heavy on self-reflecting.
Mm,
And every step of the way, I think the biggest thing for me right now has been self-reflecting. How can I evolve? How can I get better? How can I change my perspective on some things? Am I susceptible to others' perspectives? Because
mm,
when you're just sitting so long, and especially myself, like my job has not started at all since this pandemic.
mm.
You have a lot of time to sit by yourself and really think about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's important to continue to think about yourself and how you can still find a way to get better while you're just idling.
So, as an artist, there are many traits that are naturally developed, sensitivity being one of them. Would you
Yeah.
say that you've experienced any challenges in this area of creativity, whether it's, professionally, socially, or, whatever other leads? Have you experienced that?
Every single step. I don't know how you could not experience that. There's it's just it's like the stepping stones that you have to endure, the hurdles rather, that you
Mm,
have to endure to get where you're going. There's
yeah.
no easy route, there's no easy method. So for me, I've dealt with enough times that I have doubted myself. I've dealt and that's enough of a hurdle. I've dealt with enough times where I might be sitting in a room with some good people that could change my life or change the direction of my career. And you think it's going to turn out one way and it goes total south. So you really can't pinpoint any specific moment. I just know every year I'm presented with a new hurdle, and it's a choice as to whether or not I'm going to jump over that or just give up on the race.
Good. So when you moved
Did you
out,
want like one specific or anything?
no. So I,
Okay.
stemming off from that. So what would you say? I know you said like, every year, or it could be, however so often another hurdle comes up. Like, can you share like just an example of maybe one of the hardest hurdles that you've experienced, especially since you've moved out there to LA?
Okay, you know what I do? The biggest hurdle, and it was with me. Okay, this
Mm.
one lines up with me. So if people, for anyone who does already know me, the ones that are real close to me, they know that I am a sensitive dude. Like Pac was sensitive, but just at the same time, he tried to coat it with a lot of aggression, and sometimes I'll do that. But at the heart of it, I'm a sensitive person, and sometimes that side comes out at the wrong times.
Mm.
So when I first got out to Cali to live out here, and I had this internship with a guy named Zig Gautier. He was doing reality shows. He had worked on like the first Air Buddy. He just did a bunch of odd jobs, but he was running
Ooh.
Red Barton Studios.
Okay.
So I had this internship. Well, I was lined up for the interview pretty much to get the internship. When I'm sitting with him, I'm trying to tell him about the woes, like how troublesome it's been just to get to this point. And midway through a story, he stops me and he's like, "I'm gonna be honest with you. Nobody will care about your sob story.
Wow.
Nobody." Yeah, it was the toughest thing I'd ever been hit with for myself. Just from a stranger who was just as blunt as they could be, but it was like so necessary. It was crazy because sometimes you need like a slap in the face just for you to understand really how the rest of the world might see you if you continue in one direction. It's okay to be sensitive, but you have to know when. You have to know who you can be sensitive around.
Yeah.
So when he said that, I just kind of froze up. It's like no one's gonna care about that. Now, do you want the internship? Say yeah. He's like, all right, come with a suit and tie tomorrow. And so after that, we developed a good relationship. He taught me a lot of things, but we had to start there. He had to make me realize that like if you don't turn where you're going, you're not gonna get to where you're trying to be. So it was vital. But that was one of those hurdles with myself. And I'm like, dude, are you gonna go to the internship tomorrow? Or are you just gonna throw it away?
Shoot. So I'll take it. Dang. I mean, I've heard stories about how, the entertainment industry is kind of like just so strict and just down to the core, just tell you the truth. But I think that's a good example of what I would not expect in like a corporate setting versus like what is going on in entertainment. Cause kudos to you to be able to move forward. I probably would have been like, give me a moment to be in my feelings real quick.
Yeah, I feel you. Now I'm still me. So I had to go home, take the cold shower, reflect, drink some tea and stuff. But
in the moment,
from that moment, everything that came from that, like even to this point, the quarantine was tough, but for my career right now, like the last few opportunities, I got to, work on a project with Common. I was doing some things with small things here and there. I'm not like the big timer behind the scenes, but just being in the same room, being able to work on projects with Common, Martin Scorsese, just people that I would never think that I would see or just be a part of a project with. That moment and me getting over that hurdle is what got me to this moment.
Gotcha. So it's probably one of the harshest but the best advice that you maybe received in your career? Or
probably.
Not?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. Kudos to him. Zig, wherever you are, thank you for that. Still hurt. Still wake up in cold sweats, but hey, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And if I'm shouting out anyone else, I would have to say I have a friend, Courtney Flower, who taught me something a long time ago. She said, words should be used strategically. And it was, I don't know what it was about how she just placed that sentence together. But after hearing that, it was always, when it came to music, when it came to conversations, it's vital to think about what you're saying before you just put it out there. So shout out to Courtney.
Yeah. I like that. I definitely can apply that to my life. All right. So, another question I have for you: was there ever a time where you lost motivation to continue to create? And if
Yeah.
so, how did you get yourself out of it too?
Ooh. Okay. I think the actually I would say the most recent uh, time that I lost creativity was probably within the past few months. I had a real close friend from just way back
Mm-hmm.
pass away,
Wow.
and due to the quarantine, it doesn't like. And I'm from North Carolina, so him being way back home and me being in California and not being able to get back, there's a piece of myself and like the closure that I want that I can't find.
Mm.
And it makes it made it difficult for the longest for me to even write anything down. Because I dropped Mars, my last project, probably October of 2019. And I had some other songs that I started working on. I had a concept, things like that. And then with him passing, all of those songs just kind of got thrown away. It's like
Mm.
it doesn't, none of it felt the same. The music didn't feel the same. The pandemic adding on top of that. And you know what's funny about stress and doubt and things like that is even when you try to ignore it in your mind, your body will still express it.
Yeah.
So it's like I've never had any crazy reactions or anything my whole life, but my homie passing with the pandemic, with other issues I was dealing with between those two, I woke up one morning just broke out in hives. It was the
Wow.
craziest thing. Like, and I
Wow.
couldn't believe it. I think it was me trying to ignore everything else that was happening, and
Mm.
it was a wild little experience. And
Yeah.
so I had to address a lot of stuff. Had to once again go back to the self-reflecting and figuring out how do I weave through this,
Mm.
and then I got myself to a point to be able to write some music again.
What was it like for you to get to that point of wanting to, I guess, desiring to create again? Was it an inspiration, a spark of inspiration from something that happened, or was it just like you just really just allowed it to happen naturally, like it just came out of nowhere?
For me, it's always natural.
Mm.
I wish I could write a song a day. I run with this crew called The Pack out here. It's a music collective. My homie Jalen Musa, if he wants to write a song at 2:30 in the morning, he's just gonna get up and write the song. For
Okay.
me, I cannot write until it hits me, and I'm
Mm.
jealous of him every time. But uh, when I was in this rut and all of this, in order for me to get back to writing the music, I had to one allow the process, the time to just take its toll,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to go back a little bit. When my homie passed, a lot of us that were really tight from back in the day, we weren't distant, but as you grow up and grow apart from your childhood friends, you just don't talk as much. And so
Yeah.
some of them you can make a call and it's like you don't miss a beat, but then for us, it was like that, but we just hadn't made that call. And so with him passing, it was like once I made that call and connected with a lot of my old friends, it re-sparked that void. It filled that void rather. My
Yeah.
homie Mike Gray, shout out to him. He just that man is getting me back on on the right path. Just
Mm.
talking with him for a few days, talking with my homie Mike Kerr from back in the day, getting back to what brought us together and what inspired us, what made us all laugh, and just the creative side of them. It
Yeah.
brought some spirit and some life back into myself, and that next day I was just back at it.
Yeah. Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, one, I'm sorry about your friend passing. I
um,
could only imagine,
I
like with
appreciate
yeah, with everything going on, like this pandemic is definitely taking a toll on everybody, and I think it's definitely good to be aware that like we all deal with situations differently. So,
yeah.
if it's keeping to yourself, stay into a corner, or if maybe you desire to just continue to speak with somebody and hang out with people, so them virtual meetings work best for you, or just
Yeah.
everybody just handling it differently, handling it the best way that we know how to, because who knows who has ever even experienced this before. But
Right. Right. I mean, for us, this is the first go. at all of this. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's wrong for anybody who says that they don't know what they're supposed to be doing, or for anyone who just who's kind of lost right now, because
Mm-hmm.
we have not had to endure this before. So
Yeah.
we don't really know what we're supposed to be doing or how we're supposed to be feeling.
Yeah. Yep. So, so kid, do you feel like you found your purpose? And if so, what do you feel like it is?
I do not think that I have found my purpose, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay.
And that's a conversation I was just having with my guy, Mike Gray, actually earlier this morning. And because purpose is it's such a broad concept to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's in my mind, my opinion, it's just one thing that you are like destined to do. What is your
Mm-hmm.
purpose? And I can't say that I'm here to make the best music. I'm here to do any of that. I kind of feel like Tupac had a quote where he said, "I'm not saying I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the mind that will change the world."
Mm.
I would like to be more in that broad spectrum of
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do, but I really hope that whatever I do triggers a reaction for more of that to happen. Either if it's men just being comfortable expressing themselves, if it's short brothers feeling tall, because I'm only 5'6", so it is what it is. If
That's
whatever it
average.
is, if I can just leave a mark, not be forgotten, and give somebody else something to keep moving forward with, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know my purpose.
Okay. No, I think that was a good response. Like I think it's okay to just kind of figure it out. Like you're still going about it and you're going towards it. So and
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm perfect and I know my purpose because I don't. Same situation. Honestly, I don't feel like I feel like everybody's purpose is tied to helping the next person, but how you're helping the next person is like where it differentiates between all of us. But
So
um but yeah. Okay, so you are out there. I know you have time on your hand now with the pandemic.
yeah,
But while
no bit,
still,
no bit.
balancing in what you love to do, creating and whatnot. But what do you do to celebrate you? Especially, I guess this is actually a really good question I'm interested in, like during this pandemic. What do you do to celebrate you?
See, I'm a Gemini, so for me, uh, excuse the noise in the background. I know they're moving some stuff. I don't know if you can hear that,
Oh, you're good.
but for me, uh, there's a whole other person that's always in the room hanging, and
Mm-hmm.
because of that, and myself being a nerd interwoven within all of that, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just working on music, I'm reading some comics, I'm playing some games. I've been working on this book of mine forever in a day, and one day I'm gonna see that through. One
Yeah.
day, one page at a time.
Yeah.
So I have too many other outlets that I always just try and exhaust that energy and that creativity with. Can't stop. And I when I jump in the games or the comics or movies, I'm just getting reinvigorated, re-inspired, and then I jump right back into the music or the book. And I'm just like, all
Yeah.
right, what can I do now? So it's just a big vicious cycle, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you feel like, I mean, this is more of like the current times question, but do you feel like you're getting like enough rest and like the creativity is something that like lasts for a good amount of time versus let's just like random spurts that just come and go? Or like how is
I,
that going? How is the balance?
ooh, that's a good question, man. Balance for me, if it's like I don't want to hear myself say it, but I don't think I'm that balanced when it comes to all of this. And this
Mm.
is the Honesty Podcast. So
Right,
if
yeah.
I'm going to say it anywhere, it's right here. Now, I don't think that I'm that balanced because there are days that I wake up and I say to myself, let's work on a song. But going back to what I said before, I can't force it. So I'll tell myself in my mind, hey, man, you got to work on the song. Let's listen to some beats. And the whole time I'll be watching the movie. Like, look, I don't. The other half is saying I don't want to write anything right now. It's not hitting me. And then I'll walk down to the corner store, see some crazy stuff happen, get home, and just won't stop writing. I just need something else to happen. I need something to trigger it. So there's not really balance here. I tell myself that I want to do one thing, and then I do the total opposite. But when it comes to just like moral balance and things like that, yeah, I'll wake up, I brush my teeth, I take a little time, I meditate, try and stretch. That I can do.
Right.
But to get myself every day to write a track, nope, can't work. And for that reason, half my fans are like, hey man, where's the music? I'm trying.
I mean, well, that's
I got something good coming.
okay. Because I mean, I respect the fact that you prefer to have something be more natural versus forced. So do what you got to do, whether it be balance or nah.
It has to, but it always pieces together in my mind. And personally, for me, I feel like it pieces together right. If you could go back and listen to the Red Hen tape or my Mars tape, or if you go check out the music videos, those all came from a little bit of time. I had to really think about the process. I had to sit with the right people. You got to be inspired by other people who are already like on top of their game. And so my guy Joel Sanchez, who did my Absalom video, my Greed video, he edited my Fame video. Him and I have an understanding. But every time we get together, like we talk about a music video in February, and you won't see it till November. We're not on any big budget, but sometimes for us, it's just like there's so many little meticulous pieces moving around, and we want it all to line up perfectly.
Yeah.
And so if you watch Absalom and any of my other videos, you'll see little things like that. Shout out to the rabbit. I don't know if you've seen all of my videos, but there's always a rabbit in someone wearing a rabbit mask, so to speak, in all of my music videos. And he's kind of hidden in the background, or he's very apparent. He started in the song Absalom and just continued. And it's kind of like, it's that void that that I've been speaking of today is that void in all of us, that side that we don't really know how to deal with. That's kind of always looming behind you. That's what the rabbit is the representation of. The answers that you're not willing to, or the questions you're not willing to ask yourself, rather.
Wow. Good to know. Now when I notice a rabbit, I'll be able to understand the purpose of it. But okay. So one of the questions that I tend to ask all of my guests on here before we get to the end is, if you could speak to your younger self today, what would you tell him to avoid and what would you tell him to look forward to?
Ooh. I tell him to make a left on 3rd Street instead of a right. I'm going to tell you why in a minute.
Okay. I got questions.
And I would tell him to stop doubting yourself so much. Like, seriously. Younger you, if you're listening, it's going to be all right. And any other younger versions of me, if you ever listen to this, it's going to be all right. It's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to ask more questions. It's okay to want to know more than what you feel like you're allowed to know.
Yeah.
Take your time. Take your time. Now, as far as the younger Darren, make a left on 3rd instead of right. Now, being in California has taught me a lot about myself, a lot about how just different people can be, even West Coast, East Coast type of things, but just how the world can see you. And I was out walking out here one time and made a right on 3rd Street, minding my own business, say hello to some people and whatnot. And some cops pull up on me and put me in some handcuffs.
Oh my God.
Because they assumed that I was somebody else. And of course, being Black in America, that's how it is. But that was my first time ever in my life being put in cuffs. So it was a unusual experience. It was, you just got hit with everything all at once. Some people at a bus stop looking at me like I'm the issue. So
wow,
that was an eye opener. I learned a lot, but I would say I don't want any brother to have to experience that. I think we can see enough to know how we have to be. I think we're the only children in the world where our parents probably tell us this is how you deal with cops. They teach us that, and maybe other families should do that at schools or something. I don't know, but
Right.
I know that it's embedded in us.
Yeah.
So next time, make that left on Third, brother.
Wow. Man. And that was when you first moved out there?
No, I was out here for a little bit. When I first moved out here, I got pressed a lot by gangs. It's crazy. West Coast life is a little different. East Coast life, like when they talk about gangs out there, nah, it's some groups of friends getting together. But out here, they don't play.
Oh my gosh.
Not all of them. They're not crazy
right.
like that, but they're very blunt about their location and what areas of theirs and things like that. Myself and Ari of Compton Brown, we were doing a photo shoot in the alley, and they just approached us one time, like, you don't take photos in this alley. This is our alley.
Okay.
It's like, oh, it's the alley. Okay. I don't want jurisdiction over an alley. Cool, you got it.
No problem. No problem.
Some other photos. So you just they open your eyes to a lot of things, how people can be sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how about what your younger self could look forward to?
Woo. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very grateful of every opportunity I have. Even it's so much that some opportunities I've had recently, I'm not allowed to talk about.
Okay.
On the serious note, not even just like I signed some NDAs. So younger self, look forward to that.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll pan out. More than anything, hopefully that can be shared with everybody. Probably 2021, something like that. But who knows? But younger self, you keep your head on a swivel, you get to where I'm at.
Yes. Ain't nothing wrong with the NDAs.
No, but I'm just hopeful. I'm hopeful for whatever can come of those opportunities.
Yeah. All right. So we're coming to the end of this episode, but I definitely want you to share what can we expect from Kids Saturday in the next year?
Okay. More music, definitely. It's very soon. I'll be dropping a project before the year's out.
Okay.
Maybe 2.
Okay.
More visuals. I want to be a little more open with my fans. That's why I'm thankful for you to you for allowing me to do this and just speak and be honest with people about myself. Yeah. And I want to have more avenues where people can do that. I want people to know about what you're doing and how they can also share a very real side of themselves and how this is the best spot to do that.
Yeah, thank you.
And I just want to kind of continue to open doors for that type of energy, for where people can be comfortable, be sensitive, and be okay with that, and be just vulnerable.
Yes. Love it. So, is there any way that we can just stay following your journey? How can we?
Yes, man, please. If you like good music, follow me at Kid Saturday, Kid with 2 D's, Saturday like the weekend. That's on every platform. If you are listening to music right now in your background, switch it on Spotify, iTunes to Kid Saturday. We got 2 tapes available as well as multiple features throughout every which type of way. So good music.
And I know you're gonna leave me with one of your projects to have everyone enjoy after this recording. So definitely you guys stay until I say goodbye pretty much. There's a little surprise at the end. But yeah, was there anything else that you wanted to share, Kid?
Oh no. Thank you. I appreciate this opportunity. It was just dope talking with you for a minute, and I look forward to seeing what else we do throughout this season.
Thank you. Same to you. I'm definitely looking forward to what's about to play next. Okay. And then also to this project that you referenced earlier on. I definitely know that like it's relevant with the time. So a lot of people will be able to relate. But thank you for being down, being a part of this platform, sharing your truth, sharing your personal experiences. It definitely means a lot for me. So, but with that being said, I'm going to close it on down. Thank you guys for listening. Tune in for next week's episode and we'll talk then.
I'ma do something. You know, everybody got something on their mind. Me too. I tried to focus on that wow. Used to say I got this hocus pocus, looking now. Caught up in this moment, how we make it here from soul ain't seeing home for quite a while. Just open up to me, don't see you laugh or hanging out, cause you be with them blood suckers, see their fangs are hanging out. Hapless turning hopeless, I won't say you losing focus, but you stress when they around. Still press to make a sound, but if you screaming out your lungs, well they just break their weapons out. Now, how do I forget what I've witnessed? Embedded in my soul, I felt a chill with 846. And more, I heard Rihanna was asleep, and Eric Garner can't breathe. Philando shot in his seat, tomorrow still searching for peace. Don't call us weak, y'all entitled. Marches turning to marathons, y'all just hope we stay idle. I hope you know we ain't scared of y'all, we just searching for air. With words like leave me alone. Man, I'm minding my business, I'm just a block from my home. I thought a lot while alone. I'm sure we all had a reason to be in tune with ourselves. Find out our problems are bleeding through what we thought was okay. Somehow they taught us astray. Cause see the future they gave us became them problems today. Now I ain't here to give answers like Hov, what more can I say? What more can I do? It's up to you to make this okay. I know Beeler to Congress, at least just hold a debate. Let me wear Jordans to dinner at Western Union today. If I can't walk through my neighborhood, is my porch still okay? Can I make music for cats and me and my nephew just play? Can I make lunch for the marchers or buy some Skittles to eat? If I can't hang out in Starbucks, just let me leave there in peace, you dig? Just let me